Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're sitting here talking. I was like, oh, it's showtime. I got to hit the button. And we're just sitting here talking away. But so hello and welcome everybody who is able to make it. We are here today to do a self-publishing and marketing live Q&A part 2. We did the first part on Estelle's channel. It was really awesome. We did talk about the difference of going wide versus being exclusive. We also talked about SEO, which she is kind of a little bit of an expert on because that is her job, and she has presented on it at other writing conferences and will be presenting on it more in future conferences. So and so she does gear her marketing SEO knowledge toward writers, which I think is very helpful, and not just general SEO. So I think that's really helpful. So we had a great chat. If you did not catch that video, please make sure you go back and watch her video so you catch everything that we talked about, because there was a lot of great stuff in there. And I am going to go ahead and let Estelle introduce herself while I go grab the link for your video so people can go back and watch if they haven't seen it.
Thank you so much, Shanon. So hi everyone, I'm Estelle Van de Velde. I'm a Belgian author, content creator, and passionate about all things marketing and publishing. I'm also the author of the Londoners and Expat Memoir and Survival Guide to the UK. It's available in English and in French, and I think I've heard you said a little word in French. I've heard a de, which was very cute.
Well, I think I ripped that off, or maybe it's a spin-off of Margaret Pinard, who is in the chat, because Margaret and I did the AWC intros, right? And so she did a part 2 and she did part 2 for her. So I was like, I'm going to pull that. I did put it on my thumbnail like she did, but yeah.
Well, as a French speaker, I can tell you it was very cute.
Well, Margaret knows French really, really well. And
she's Canadian, right?
I know she's American, but she took French. And
I always thought she was Canadian. Sorry, Margaret, if I
live close to the Canadian border. She's like probably a few hours from the border, so maybe. But I did take French for 4 years in high school, and I went and I traveled to France for 2 weeks after high school. So I'm not completely unaware of the language. And so, but yeah, let's go say hi to everyone who is here. We had first one in was Paget. Hello, looking forward to this. Awesome. Hello, RC Scott. The key is working, so he's probably still not here, but that's okay. I appreciate him stopping by. And then sorry, Emma. Hello, Paget. Hi, RC. Emma said. And then Elaine, I got a little bit to be here, and I'm excited. So, and then she also has a question for us, which we'll come back to after we say hello to everybody. And then Elaine, Emma was asking what she writes, which I know her. She writes fantasy romance. She writes fantasy romance, which, Elaine, I've got a story for you. I was going to email you, but I did not have time. But yeah, I have a story for you from, because my first book is clean fantasy romance. Yeah, we'll talk later. Ate something spicy during the break, so I'm trying to stay alive. So Mark was with us over on Estelle's channel. I'm sorry. Yes. And Emma was also with us over there, and she's reading the second ACOTAR right now. Hello, Margaret. Welcome. People saying hello. Hello, Cool Gamer. Thank you for stopping by. There is the link for Estelle's channel. Please catch that first part. People saying hello, hello. And Margaret saying part 2. Didn't even use that for the Leslie and Nielsen movies. And this is so fun.
I have no idea.
And then Mama Maggie was also with us over on Estelle's channel. I have French-Canadian heritage. There you go. It's a few generations back. Angela, hoping to hear what does and doesn't work this year on marketing. Please ask questions. We'll be working off of whatever questions you guys have. We do have things that we want to bring in if you guys don't have any. Not that we have to talk about our things, because we are here for you guys, but we do have some topics in case you guys didn't know what to ask. And John says, hi, Estelle. Sorry.
Hi, John.
Yes, I don't think he's been to my channel before, so hello and welcome.
But John is one of my friends from London. I know him since 2015, I think. We are part of the same writing group. So
gotcha. I think I remember you talking about him on one of your lives before.
Well, he went to one of my lives before.
I was gonna say, wasn't he on a live with you?
Yeah. At least twice. Twice.
Yeah. And then I'm not sure if it's Kyra or Kira, but thank you for
Kira.
Hello, Kira. Thank you for following us over from Estelle's channel. And people saying hello and hello and hello. And Margaret I was producing, so I have an excuse note. We'll circle back to watch and like, though. No worries. All right. So we do have that first question that we'll go ahead and pull up, which was from Elaine. If I can find, here it is. Any tips for someone brand new? My reader magnet should be ready this summer, and my first book by the end of the year, which if you follow Elaine on Instagram, you will have already seen some snippets from her wonderful novel that's coming out. I have enjoyed reading those and getting excited about her first book coming out. So, but reader magnet. So I'm wondering if your question is specific to like, what should you do with the reader magnet or how to build your newsletter list? I don't know if that's where you're going, or just tips for brand new people altogether. What would you say, Estelle? What would you?
Well, maybe we could talk about how we got started on our author business, how we set up our platforms or communities, or how we built that to a certain extent, because I know that you are almost 1,000 subscribers on your channel, Shanon.
I'm close. She says anything.
You're very, very close.
I'm getting there. I got like 5 or 6 more today from a short that came out. So my shorts are doing it. But so I have a hard time reconciling my YouTube platform as being my author platform because of the fact that I can create content for writers. Although I do know writers are also readers. So, but I don't market myself on my YouTube channel as much as to readers as I do to writers. So I don't really have anything on that, but I would say as far as setting up the author business, yeah, I went onto several different social media platforms trying to figure out what would work. Fell into the whole trap of making content for writers instead of readers. So
I think that's a mistake that a lot of authors are making when creating their platforms, because we are so passionate about, everything self-publishing and publishing in general, marketing and writing, that we are talking about those topics, but readers are not necessarily, into those topics. So the thing when starting, to build platforms and to build social media presence and stuff like that is simply to understand who your readership is, where they are, so you can actually have your social media accounts on those platforms instead of putting your time and efforts on other platforms, and building content that could appeal to those readers instead of talking about writing, self-publishing, marketing, which are very fun subjects but not really appealing to those readers, right?
Yeah. And we did talk about like TikTok and how that seems to work for romance writers. And I have seen, I'm not on TikTok, but I'm part of a romance writer group, a romance fantasy romance group. And they say, you use it the same as you do for romance writers, which is, you talk about all those tropes you find in your book, which you're very good at doing that on IG, Elaine. I don't know if you're doing that on TikTok because I'm not really on there. The only videos I've watched on TikTok was pulled there was by Emma, who's in the chat too. And so, but as far as like, what about newsletter? How did you build your newsletter list, Estelle? Or do you have a newsletter?
To be very honest with you, I'm very, very bad at email marketing. Like, this is my weakest spot ever. I have just over 35 people on that list. So it's not a lot, actually. I've tried using Story Origin to build my email list, but they are not very well. I mean, they are very good at what they're doing, but for nonfiction writers like me, it doesn't really work, Well, and I see something regarding social media and the content that you can put on there, geared towards writers. I see that Margaret puts a question saying that goes towards that. I wonder if sometimes you can even share the same information about writing, but gear it towards readers. And actually, you can. You can. I don't know if you, Shanon, are you following Victoria Schwab on social media?
No, I've heard the name, but no.
So Victoria Schwab is a fantasy writer. She is famous for her Shades of Magic series, and then she also wrote The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue. Actually, I'm a very huge fan of Victoria Schwab. That's why I have her complete bibliography over here. And what she does is simply, she talks about her book project on Instagram mainly because I follow her there, but she's also on Twitter and other social platforms. But on social media, she's just talking about, going on book tour, or, simply talking about the struggles of writing, because she also feels the imposter syndrome and so on and so forth, even though she's very famous now. But yes, you can gear it towards readers, because readers will still be interested in, how many books you're writing, which projects you're on, and so on and so forth, if they are a true fan of yours, of course.
Yeah, well, and I would say that a lot of the tips that I have for building a newsletter work really, really well for nonfiction. So I don't know if you want to get with me. I can share some of my knowledge. But, I have close to 7,000 subscribers on my newsletter list, and I've been building it for a little less than 2 years. So the biggest thing is having a reader magnet of some sort, which...
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So you are doing something right. Then with your
now you need to go ahead and start getting that list built up. And my biggest thing at this point, at starting off where you're at right now, if you don't have anything you're doing to build your reader magnet list, there are a couple different ways. Ways I haven't tried yet include like Facebook, doing a Facebook ad to get people onto your newsletter list and get that reader magnet. Mm-hmm. You can do that. I have not tried that yet. I do want to. The biggest thing that I'm building my newsletter list off of right now, and if I didn't have anything published, I just had reader magnet, would be to go through something like Story Origin or Book Funnel. So those will get you going. They'll get you your work in front of the right audience. They are a monthly cost. There are other ways of doing it for free, and that's basically doing newsletter swaps with people who are in your genre. You can find people on Facebook and things like that. That does take a little more work than joining something like Facebook, joining something like Story Origin or Book Funnel. Once you have your book ready and you've published it, get with Voracious Readers Only. For one time in your author career, they will promote your book to their readers for 6 weeks, I think it is. It was 6 weeks back when I joined, but I know they've changed things a little bit. It's free for that first 6 weeks, and they will get your book in front of readers who are getting a free copy of your book with the idea that they will review. And to this day, and I'm still with Voracious Readers Only, I'm on their monthly program where I pay now. That's where I get most of my reviews from, is from Voracious Readers Only. I get my most reviews, that's another thing you want to make sure you want to work on, it is trying to set up your review team. People who will read your book and leave a review. And the going percentage is like 1% of people that you give your book to who will leave you a review. I got lucky. I had like 50 people on my list that I gave my book to, and I had like 18 people leave me reviews. So I had a really high percentage, but it's not, and that was 18 across different platforms. So like only 11 or 12 made it on Amazon, and it was a different like 15 who made it on. And I did Amazon, BookBub, and Goodreads. There's the 3 platforms I requested from my readers. So, but all together I got those. But it's like 1%. So if you give your book to 100 people, only one's going to leave you a review. If you go into it with that idea, and that you won't be upset that you've given your book away to a bunch of people for free. So. All right, we have another question from Angela. How far out do you need to plan on marketing a book you are writing? Which steps in what order should you take, from ARC reviewers to announcements, reveals, and online tours to signings? You want to start?
So I am currently planning on releasing a book on July 25th about SEO for authors. And funny that you asked this, because I just did retro planning on what I should be doing when and how far ahead, So with a release in July, for example, usually what they say in general is that you should start marketing your book at least 3 months in advance, so people actually get hyped about your book. So with a release date on July 25th, that means that I need to start my marketing in May, right? So there are a couple of things. The first one is newsletter. So as Shanon mentioned, when you are building your email list, you need to take advantage of that email list. And will actually start teasing my book to my email list, even though it's small, but you know. I will start teasing my email list like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks in advance, and then work my way through that. It's just a shame that it's in my notebook, so I can't show it on screen. But yeah, basically you have to, well, when I say you have to, you don't have to, but it's more likely that this job sucks. What?
He's still at work.
So from ARC reviews. Okay, so ARC reviewers, I'm asking for ARC reviewers 9 weeks in advance. So as I have a YouTube channel, I am going to put up like a video asking for ARC reviewers. So basically saying what ARC's reviews are, what an ARC team is, what I'm looking for, and you know, send out the invitation to join my ARC reviewers like 9 weeks in advance.
So she's got it all like scheduled out, which is very, very helpful. But I would say how far out is when you can handle it. Yes, because there are so many different things that you can do, like you ARC reviewers, announcements, reveals, online tours, signings. That's so much. It's a lot to bite off, especially if you're brand new into this. And then Estelle, she has put out, well, you've got one book published, but you've had another book that you took down, right? Did you launch that one with a marketing plan when you launched that one, or?
The one that I put down?
Yeah, the first one.
No, I did not. I did not. Actually, the very first one that I published was a short story that was supposed to be the prologue to my middle grade novel that I'm currently querying. But it's now, well, it was a short story on its own. So and now there's another prologue. Yeah, I had just put it out there, you know, to have a little experience with self-publishing and, you know, already know what sort of things I should be doing and not do. So that's why I put it out in the first place. But then when I released The Londoners, which is like a more fleshed out type of books, I decided to put that short story down and unpublish it, just because it wasn't my best writing.
Yeah. And
that I've grown as a writer since. It was a short story written in 2017, and The Londoners came out in 2021. So I mean, I grew as a writer since then, and I think that it was a good idea to put it down. Because I also had this idea of rewriting it and put it as a either a reader magnet for my middle grade novel, or put it as a bonus in the hardback version, if that makes sense. So that's why.
Something else that I would add to this is the minute you have an idea for a book and you think you're going to be writing it and you're possibly going to publish it, start talking about it. Because that's something that, you know, we have the self-publishing tips and tricks podcast here on my channel. And it's also on podcast platforms. And we had several authors say that, you know, the minute that you know you're writing this book, that you're getting ready to write this book that you are going to publish, then start talking about it. And I default back to Elaine here and what she's doing on Instagram, and she's putting snippets of her book up there. It's not even published. She's doing it later this year, though. She has the plan. And so maybe you don't have to, you know, have an elaborate plan, but just talk about it. You start talking about it to your audience if you're online. Of course, now if you're not online, I would say the newsletter is your most important thing to start working on, and get that going. And then ARC reviewers, right? You know, there's some people who can ARC review a book like in a week or 2 weeks. So sometimes, you know, you can work on trying to build that ARC team up for, you know, as long as you have or as little time as you have. It just depends on a lot of this comes down to, do you have time or do you have money? Because some of it you could, you know, you can hire a company to do like a book reveal for you and do online tours. You can hire companies for that, or you could do it yourself. And it just depends. Do you have the time or do you have the money? Which one is more of a resource for you to use? So, of course, if you hire an online tour company, you could do that at any point, and you just have to fit into their schedule, right? So, yeah, I think it's what's going to work for you and your timeline and what your resources are. So, I don't know if we were any helpful with that.
Yeah. And in terms of, our reviewers, announcements, and so forth, my advice would be to do like a retro planning. So if you have set like a release date in your mind, just do a retro planning. When should you do, a cover reveal, a blood reveal, a title reveal, whatever.
Cover reveal. I learned a lesson with that because I was like, I put in my plan, because I did set up a 6-month plan for me, for my first book, not for my other ones though. And I put in their cover reveal. And the lesson I learned was, when you do a cover reveal, you're supposed to put up your pre-order link or buy link at the same time.
Yes, definitely.
So you don't want to, your cover reveal, you do want to set that up whatever it is, whether you do it on Instagram, TikTok, wherever it is you're going to do it, you want to have that link to go with it.
Yeah, because your book cover is your #1 marketing tool. Yeah. So if you are revealing that cover, as people will be very, very hyped about your book and will, promote it, share it, whatever, you literally need to have those pre-orders set up, because otherwise you will lose momentum.
Yeah. All right. So the next question is, how good are ads with companies like BookBub? How much money should you allocate for marketing? And what I would say to this is, the allocation of money is what you can afford. I do $5 per ad. I think it's by month. And I only do Amazon ads right now. But what I would say is, like we were talking about this with something else. So we're talking about the promo companies. If you use online promotion companies, the best way to use the promotion companies or using your ads is if you have another book. I mean, you can do it on a book if you only have the one, but it becomes very useful if you have more than one book, because oftentimes you're going to lose money on your ads with the book that you are trying to sell. So my first book, I might spend $5 on my ad and get one person to buy it, and my book is only $4.99, and I only get 70% of that. So I'm losing money, but the money that I'm making up is, if they like the book, they move on to buy the other 2 that are in my series, and now I'm making the money. So it's not that you can't use it on your first book if you have just a first book out, but it does work better if you have more than one book out. So what I have done, I ran ads from the moment my first book went live. So I used that time to try to figure out what worked and what didn't work for my Amazon ads. And I've, now I feel more comfortable with it to this point, almost, a year and a half later, basically, year and 5 months later, I feel more comfortable with Amazon ads. And now that I'm getting ready to move into other ads and try them out. And so I would say also choose one at a time and try it out. So
yes, what are your thoughts? Don't do everything at once, because you can only learn one thing at a time.
Yes. What do you think about this? Your thoughts?
Well, BookBub, I've never used that. I know some people are very successful with BookBubs. However, I have never used that. I try to play around with Facebook ads. Actually, paid advertising is not very much, it's not my scope. Usually I do free stuff. I don't do paid stuff.
Yeah.
But I dabbled in Amazon ads using the Brian Cohen 5 days Amazon ads challenge or something like that. Yeah. It's called like that. I've done it multiple times. It brought some results from that type of course and challenge. They have a very good Facebook groups. So if you want to, dive into Amazon ads, I would say go on that group because they're very useful.
They do that course once a quarter, I believe, and it's free for those 5 days. I've taken the course twice, actually, because the first time I had no idea what ads were, never knew anything about it. So the first time I took it, I was like, okay, I'm learning this, and I took it again when I now kind of knew what I was doing with ads, and I needed to understand the more advanced kind of, like, it's not that it's real advanced in the course. It's just the different things that are hard to wrap your mind around if you've never done ads before.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a little play around Facebook. Amazon ads. It was fun, but I believe that I would need to get more knowledge on the topic, and it's just because I'm very, very careful with my money, you know. So I don't want to, you know, spend too much money and don't get any results back. At least I would like to, you know, do it even. Like I spend money, but I get that money back. That would be great.
And then,
and yeah, I think it depends on how much money you can allocate to that thing, because it's hard to master.
And then I've talked with someone who's done Facebook ads, and he only runs them like for a couple of days at a time. But he also uses his book trailer as his advertisement, and he always gets
that's cheating.
Yeah, it's smart, because on Facebook you do have more leeway in what your ad can do. You know, you could do video, you can do a picture. Amazon, you don't choose the picture. The picture is your book. On BookBub, you can create your picture, but I don't think you can do any video ads. I don't know. I haven't checked.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I haven't seen video ads on there, but I may not be, because I don't do BookBub ads yet. So, but he'll run his ads on Facebook until he breaks even or makes money. When he sees that it's getting to a point, and like you said, it's only a few days. When he sees it get to a point where he's not making any more money, but he's made some and it's enough to break even, then he'll stop his ad and then he'll do it again later. So, all right. The next question is, how valuable is YouTube to building your name? Are there certain social platforms better than others? How do you get booktubers to pick up your work? So it depends on how you use YouTube. I think YouTube's really hard to build as an author, appealing to readers. I think it's hard, but there are some who do it and do it well. And so I would just go and look at them. We're building our names. Estelle and I, we're building our names right now, but I think it's more on the writer side than the reader side. And everything I've listened to, I listen to lots of podcasts about writing and publishing and self-publishing. And whether you're self-publishing or traditionally publishing, TikTok is the social platform you want to go if you want to sell. But I have also heard that it is very good for certain genres and maybe not as much for others. And then the booktuber question, that would probably be a good one to ask Margaret. She's on the booktuber side. I would assume that booktubers would be similar to like bookstagrammers, where you just need to reach out to them, but, you know, be professional, know what kind of stuff they already review before you approach them. You know, don't approach a romance reader with a horror novel because they're probably not going to want to read it. So, I've seen Bethany Atazada. I watched hers, and she had like this whole plan for one of her last books, where she had a list of bookstagrammers that seemed to work well. And she just approached them and she said, I'll offer a free copy of the book if you would review it. And she even talked about how she set up her email and everything to them. So I would say she's a great resource to go find if you want to approach booktubers or bookstagrammers to review your book.
I haven't watched that video yet. I'm gonna get that. So how valuable about, you know, YouTube building your name? I think if you are ready to, you know, get your face, not even your face, if you are ready to get your voice out there, I think YouTube could be a very fun platform to get into. Also, as an author, obviously, well, you can create content about, you know, writing and marketing and self-publishing, but, you know, as Shanon mentioned, authors often do this mistake to, you know, create content for writers, for authors, and not for readers. So instead of, you know, creating content about, you know, marketing, publishing, stuff like that, you could get into, well, actually, I am going to rephrase my thought. Because it's late now for me. So I would suggest that if you're writing in a certain genre, that if you're not, you know, a multi-genre type of author, you could focus on creating content about books around that genre. So, for example, if you are a fantasy author, you could review, I don't know, I'm going to be very cliche here. You could review The Lord of the Rings, or review Ring of Power. Why not? I mean, it's in the fantasy genre, even though it's a TV show instead of a book. But, you know, create all that sort of content geared towards that audience instead. as for, building your name on YouTube. I mean, as long as you're participating in other chats, comment box, whatever. If you're interacting, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, Sleep. If you're interacting with other people, and it's the same basis for any social media platform, it has social in it. You need to be active on that. Not only posting content, sorry, but also, going on other channel and talking with people. And that's how you are building your name.
Now that you said something about the, doing book reviews, I remember when I was researching everything a couple of years ago, and it was Derek Murphy. Derek Murphy said back then when he was doing his stuff, right, the best thing was to do blog posts about books in your genre that you're reviewing. So you want to choose, and you want to do blog posts like the top 10 fantasy novels right now.
You can do listicles.
Yeah. So or review, single books. He said, do it all. So by doing that, and so if you did it YouTube or Instagram or wherever, you don't have to do it as blog posts. But if you talk about books that are in your genre, and especially if you're hitting on those that are hot right now in the news, you're going to get readers who are going to find that SEO content basically and find you. Yes, because we talked about SEO content in Estelle's video. You want to go check that out. So that will bring readers who are searching, the best novel. Who was it that just hit it? It was an author just made like several lists a couple days ago. She's like us, like, well, higher than us, right? She's got tons and tons of followers, but she appeals mostly to writers, but she's a writer herself. But I can't remember her name, and I've been to one of her webinars. But anyways, yeah. So she's big in the news right now. If you write in her genre, if you talk about her, you're going to probably grab her readers who are looking her up right now because they're hearing about her, and new readers who are hearing about her. So, if you start talking about her in a video or a blog post or whatever it is, they'll probably find you. Readers will. So yeah, piggyback off of that.
Exactly.
So next we have a question by Margaret. What is your relationship with reviews? Do you have a strategy? How much of your marketing time is dedicated to it? Do you aim for minimum to get cred on the Zon and then ignore? You want to go first on this one?
So I've heard somewhere, actually it was on the course that I took for Amazon ads, that an Amazon sales page will be considered as optimized by Amazon if you reach 15 reviews. So the minimum to get cred on the Zon, as you said, is to get those 15 reviews. So how you get those reviews is simply it's not that simple, but you get them. Yeah. Well, you could set up a street team, an ARC review team. So send out free copies to an ARC review that they will review your book in advance and put a review on Amazon. Be careful though, because you shouldn't pay anyone to put a review on Amazon, otherwise they will strike your account with whatever they want. They could even close your account, so be very, very careful with that. And I've also seen on my own Amazon that they will put up reviews that are verified, meaning that they will verify if that person has purchased my book or not. So yeah, be very careful with that. And I lost my thought about that. Yeah. So set up an ARC reviewers team, and then if you still haven't reached those 15 reviews, what you could do is set up a free promotion week or day, put up your book for free, and then have a strategy in terms of booking free promo websites. Actually, we talked about free promo websites online, but you could set up a free promo website, marketing strategy, marketing experiment, and have as many people download your book as possible, knowing that only 1% of those downloads will get you a review. So yeah, actually one of my previous experiments that was for last year's Londonist anniversary, I had set up like an experiment on social media. So I got as many downloads as I could from my social media. I got 140 something downloads, but I got 2 book reviews, which was incredible.
Yes.
And actually this year, I also set up a marketing experiment with free promo websites this time. I got 346-ish downloads. I've already seen two reviews. One of them was from Mark, actually, which was very nice. And yeah, that's practically how I did it. But you know, I'm very chill with book reviews. I mean, I don't put too much time to it. I mean, if you can drive traffic to your book sales page, and if you can get sales from that traffic, then it's already a win, you know. So to me, I would put more time into getting book sales rather than reviews, but that's just me.
So I've got a couple things that are automatically in place.
Wait a second, my son is actually.
Well, go ahead. I can just talk while you go. So I have a couple things I put in place that have made it automatic for my book reviews. I do think book reviews are important. And hold on, let me put that on mute. So what I do is my strategy. So I talked about Voracious Readers Only, which is a monthly cost. So some of my strategies do cost money, some. So I think it's all of them are money. So I pay a monthly cost of Voracious Readers Only. I also use Story Origin to build my newsletter list. But through Story Origin, and BookFunnel has similar attributes like Story Origin, but I haven't used them. So I only know Story Origin. Through Story Origin, you can do monthly promotions. You can do monthly reviews. So we've talked about ARCs a few times. And just in case, if there's anyone out there who doesn't know what ARC is, it's Advanced Reader Copy or Advanced Review Copy, in which you get a copy of a writer's novel before it is published. You read it with the idea that you're going to leave an honest review when it is published. But you don't have to stop there. You can still have a review team. And so like on some of my videos, I've said, you know, I still have a review team for my first book. If you would like to sign up for a review team, every now and then I send it out to my newsletter list. I'm like, hey, you know, would you like to get a copy of my book and join my review team for my first book? So my book is already out. And so, you know, I'm still building my review team from that. And my newsletter just costs money right now because I have a lot of newsletter subscribers. So that is a paid one. But if you have a small newsletter subscriber pool, you may not be paying money yet for your newsletter. So that might be a free way for you if you build your newsletter list up. But, you know, I pay for Story Origin. And I also do a reader magnet, which is just the first 3 chapters of my first book. But in order to get the reader magnet, the readers from Story Origin have to to get the reader magnet, they have to come to my newsletter. So I have an automatic sequence where when they come to my newsletter, I remind them, hey, here, you know, don't forget to get this again in case you missed it. And then my next newsletter, my next email to them, which is automatic, says, hey, by the way, if you like those first 3 chapters, do you want to join my review team, and you can get the whole book for free in exchange for an honest review. So that's how I continue to work on my newsletter. It's not a lot that I go out of my way. These are sequences and things I've set up that are automatic. So I'm not always on top of it, but, it is a byproduct. So it's not really a strategy of mine, but it is a byproduct that I run promotions. I run promotions on my book about every other month, sometimes every month, or sometimes I'll take a month off where I don't run any promotions on my book. But when I run promotions on my book, I almost always get 1, 2, or 3 more reviews, depending on if it's a free promotion or if it's a paid promotion, if my book is like 99 cents instead of being free. So yeah, those are things that I do. I don't know if I aim for a minimum to get credits on, which, by the way, we should note that if you have a review team, whether it's an advanced reader review team or just a review team, don't ask them to, or don't make it a requirement that they put their review on Amazon, because you do have to have a minimum purchase on Amazon every year in order to leave reviews on products. So I always tell my review team that there are 3 places that can leave a review for me that I would prefer, which this is what I've had always in the past, was Goodreads, BookBub, and Amazon. But I have become aware that I have reviews on my book on story something. Margaret, if you're still in the chat, tell me what it is. It's something Storygraph. because I recently had a reviewer from Voracious Readers Only who joined my newsletter list. She gave me a link to her review on Storygraph, and I went and looked, and I had other reviews on Storygraph. So I was like, oh, I might throw this in the mix and tell my readers that, I always ask my readers who are on my review team, I would love if you can leave a review everywhere. On all these places, you can leave the same one. You don't have to change it. You can leave the same exact review. And if you're able to access it, and I do put a note in there about Amazon that they have to have purchased at least X amount. I don't remember what the number is. I have it. It's an email template I have, so I don't remember what the number is. But I just said, it's like, you have to have purchased. So if you can't leave a review there, no worries. Don't worry about it. So yeah, that's all what I have to say about that. So, all righty, we do have another question. Unless you wanted to add anything more to that, Estelle.
No.
Okay.
And my son is back to sleep, but he's moving. So I'm like, oh.
Oh, wait, we had a ton of people come in. So let me say hi real quick before we get to this other question. Wow. Okay. Book Teresa. Hello, author and Sophie.
Hi.
So everything up until now, but I know the rewatch is worth it. Yes. And don't forget to rewatch the one on Estelle's channel as well, because we talked about things over there that we're probably not going to get to here. And then we just have people asking, how are you doing? Hello, how about you? And Ashley Emma. I always do arcs with my list and it works well, but it's hard before building a list. Yes, it's very hard. And I built my list with Ryan Z promos. So yeah.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, there are companies you can hire to help build your list. Beside that, it's I don't know do you stay with Ryan Z promos, or was it like a one-time thing? Because I use a Story Origin, which is a monthly fee or a yearly fee. I pay the yearly fee. But if you guys have marketing questions, Ashley Emma is a great one to ask. She's done this a lot. And she was a USA Today bestseller. So yes. So she is a great
resource. I'm
honored. Hello, Richard. How are you?
Hi.
Bert, tired and ready to bed, but wanted to pop in before. Okay, totally understand. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, I'll come back to that. Richard, very, that's what she meant, not Bert. Very tired. And people saying hello. You know what? I love more than spreadsheets, newsletters. Yes, Richard is a big fan of newsletters. You're lying. It's about even, to be honest. Gotcha. Storygraph. Yes, I thought of it right as I was saying your name. I thought of it because Margaret does a lot of her reviewing of stories on books on Storygraph. Spreadsheet equals fun. Storygraph, and she knew it too. And I'm in the camp too, Richard, posting snippets that I could do. Gotcha. All right, so we'll go back to that question from Angela. How much does the minimum cost for the various sites? And Estelle, I don't think you really pay for a lot of sites, right?
No, I use free promo websites and they work very well.
The sites run the gamut. So if you're talking about promo sites that will promote to their newsletter and or on their website and or to social media, those can go anywhere from like $5 all the way to like $100 plus. So like I think it's Free Booksy. Like you can promote a series on there. So I promoted my series with them, and I think that was like $125 when I promoted my series. So that was I promoted my series when it was complete after I had got the third book out. So I promoted it then. But
if I'm being honest, I think it's not about the cost of the various sites. It's more about the ROI that you can get from those sites. Because if you are, booking something with a website, you want to get your money back, right?
Well, an ROI is return on investment. Basically, if you spend money on something to promote something of yours, are you getting your money back? And again, I would go back to, maybe we talked about this on your channel, where these promotion companies are better to use when you have more than one book. If you're using one book, you're going to have a negative ROI. You're not going to really see, because you could spend money on advertisements or promotion companies that's going to cost more than what you're going to make, especially if you're promoting a free book. If you're promoting a free book and you're running advertisements to it and you're purchasing promos from promotion companies, well, you're not making money on the free book. But if you have two other books, or like I say two other books, I have two others, or you got more books, and there's a percentage of the people that will move from your first book to your next book, to your next book, to your next book. And that's where you start making up your money. But it is hard to track which people who are buying the next few books are coming from that promotion. Yeah. Unless, some of it could be kind of easier. Amazon has attribution tags now, which could make it easier. So yeah. I don't know if there's minimum costs. I use Story Origin. Like I mentioned, I use Story Origin for my newsletter list, which you can also put up sales of your book on there. You join promos of books that are on sale. And I spent, it was $9.99, I think, a month, but for the yearly cost is like $8 and some change when it breaks down to 12 months. I would say Voracious Readers Only is pretty expensive. I think they charge $30 a month to get your book in front of readers, and they connect you with readers is what they do. And again, like I said, the reviews I get from the site are really good. Now, I don't pay $30 a month. I pay $20 because I was grandfathered in. I was in before they did their revamp of their website and everything. Still $20 is a lot. But I did notice like this past month, not for February, I didn't have as many people sign up for my book. And they actually issued a refund on part of my money. So I don't know if they do that with the $30 monthly people, because that was part of their norm, is that they refunded part of your money if you didn't get at least 20 people signing up for your book that month. So, but yeah, I think they cost different. And I would piggyback up with Estelle was saying, it's not so much too about the cost. It's the ROI. It's also the reputation of the company, because I've tried some companies that cost money and I got nothing from them. And I would go look up the reputation and it was not very good. So I was like,
but actually, I think the, how is it called again? It's the, wait a minute. Shoot. There's a group of indie is it the indie author group? It's a British one. Shoot, I can't find it. Wait a minute. Indie author.
Oh, are you talking about the Alliance of Independent Authors?
Yes,
Go to the Alliance of Independent Authors. You look, they will tell you ratings from all these different things.
The thing with them is that they sometimes have lists of vetted websites that could be used by indie authors. I've used that for a book awards because there's a website called Book Awards Pro. Mm-hmm. And I tried on their free version, because yes, I do everything for free. That's what I like, is to try on everything for free. And I actually submitted my book for one award. But before then, before even submitting my book, I went on their websites to check if it was listed. First of all, if it was listed, and second of all, if it had a good rating. So sometimes it can be a very good resource for that type of things as well.
Yeah. Oh, and that reminds me, with book reviews, guys. Andy at Easy Graphics. So the channel name is Easy Graphics. He is got a playlist going of all the different places he's tried out. These are paid services to get book reviews. And at the beginning of every episode, he shows you the Alliance of Independent Authors and that company there to show what their rating is and everything like that. So I mean, that's how I have it on my head, because I just watched a bunch of his videos in that playlist. So so it's a good resource there. All right. The next question is, do you band together with other authors to do events or reduce costs on ads?
Well, to do events, I'm on Shanon's channel and she was on my channel before. So yes, we do band together with other authors.
Yeah. So YouTube's a great place to collab if you've got a channel, but if you're not on YouTube, you can always do things like simultaneously. So for instance, here's one that I just heard about it again, but I had heard about it a few months ago, where these like 5 authors who all write in the same genre, right? They know each other from, reaching out. You do want to try and reach out to other authors in your genre, connect with them, make those connections. And that way at some point you can get together and like, hey, so to our newsletter list. So on Monday, all the author who was being promoted, the other 4 authors promoted her book on Monday. On Wednesday, they promoted the other 4 authors. And then on Friday, they promoted the other 4 authors. So in 1 week's time, all 5 authors were featured in a newsletter on all these other on the other authors' newsletters. And all of them had good sales. I just heard that this morning. It was on the Wish I Knew Then or Wish I Knew When podcast with Sarah, Jamie Albright and Sarah. I can't remember her last name, but one of them just did this. And I had heard about this a year ago on another podcast. And whoever it was that did it, she said that they did it like a week or 2 ago, and they still have a long tail going. They're still getting sales off of just getting with other authors. So yeah, that doesn't even cost money. You do have to network, which is kind of hard to do if you're an introvert, like most of us are. Because I know I'm an introvert. So and I don't know about reducing costs on ads. So
no, I don't know about it, because usually when you do ads for a specific product. You don't do ads for multiple products.
Well, there are
as authors, I mean.
You can use ads to build your newsletter list, and and I think you can also promote things through ads. So I think I've heard of, like, you could go and run your own promotion. So Story Origin and BookFunnel, they help get you in contact with other authors to help you run promotions. You can run your own promotion. You could say, hey, I'm giving away 5 books by the top 5 people in my genre. You wouldn't say like that. You say what the top 5 books are, right? And you say, I'm going to give away these 5 books. Sign up to enter this raffle to win these 5 books. And that would be a way to get people on your newsletter list, because part of them signing up is getting on your newsletter list. And then I've seen people, they run ads to different things. And so I have seen an ad like on someone else's where they did it to their promotion. They ran an ad to their promotion to get people on their newsletter list, which is another way to sell books, is to your newsletter list. So there are different ways of doing it, but that's paying for it. And that's not really reducing a cost on an ad though. But that's, I don't know. All right, another question, attribution tags. What is this new magic? You're making me feel old. I don't have it done yet, Margaret, because I've tried to figure it out, and I had issues figuring out. Amazon, when they were still doing it at the beginning, it was not very intuitive, but now they said it's more intuitive now. But basically, you go onto Amazon. It's through your promotions page, I think it is.
It's on the Amazon ads dashboard, I think.
Dashboard, yeah. So the Amazon, and you sign, and you basically get a unique link for your book, and you can get as many unique links as you want. So say like I get one unique link for Facebook ads, and I get another unique link for BookBub ads, and I run the ads at the same time. Now I can see who is coming from those platforms and coming over to Amazon and buy my book, or wherever it is that, well, it's to Amazon. So there's Amazon attribution ads. So wherever it is, I put that link out. So if I could put it in my social media and see where people are coming from social media to come buy my book, I really want to do it, and I haven't done it yet, because this is another way that I can track, like when I do my promotions, because I do promotions like every other month or sometimes every month. I want to have an Amazon attribution tag so I can see how many are actually buying from that promotion. So
it's like Amazon doing Bitly for tracking. Got it.
Yeah. Very close. Okay, where are we at? Okay, so Book Awards Pro. Yes, by the way, if you guys, I tried it for a couple months with a consultant, disappointing. So yeah, there is a free version on Book Awards. Did you say you're using the free one?
Yeah, there's a free version. Well, there's a free version of it. So you can register for free and try to get the algorithm propose you some book awards for one book.
But don't feel like you need to do
one book at the time, I think.
Yeah.
You can, check those book awards, but you have to check them yourself and submit the book yourself. Book Awards Pro don't do anything for you.
The biggest thing I think is like, you can get that award and you can put that on like your Amazon page or wherever you put that on your book cover. So it gives you like a little bit of street cred or social, the words escaping me, social, social proof. So it gives you like social
proof. I'm too tired to know any English,
Okay. And there's the link. Thank you for dropping that, Margaret. Bonnie is lurking. Hello. She says she had difficult time connecting with historical fiction authors on my preferred platform of YouTube. So that is a good point to bring up, is that you do want to see, well, what platforms work better for your genre. And there may be genres out there that don't have a platform that really work well for them, that are the major ones that we know of. So, so then you have to get inventive and creative, I think, in some ways. And I would say in this case, if I had the willpower to do it myself, not the willpower, if I had the brain energy, the bandwidth to do it, I would see what other people are doing in adjacent genres or close enough genres and pick out things that look like that are working, that might work for me, and try it. That's what I would do. But again, I don't really have the bandwidth for that anyways. I also hate talking to people too, Shannon. Introverts unit. People definitely promote group book sales together. Yeah. How useful is it? Oh, this is another question. Okay, let me put that into the question box. And okay, so it's like Amazon doing Bitly for tracking. Got it. I have feelings about chasing awards. Yeah, I kind of, honestly, because if you guys know me, Dale was our keynote speaker for last AWC. I was in talks with him quite a bit before that. And he was like, hey, Shannon, you need to do this. And I'm like, I don't care about book awards. And he gave me this look like I was stupid or something. I know he didn't.
Yeah,
he was not going to make me feel a certain way, but I was just like, he gave me this look like, why aren't you doing this?
He's a cheerleader of Book Award Pro, actually.
Yes.
So that's why.
Yes. And yeah. So he was trying to push me to do that. And he was like, but I always wanted to win awards. And I'm like, I really could care less about that right now. I was like, I'm just trying to figure out how to do this indie author thing. Because I think at the time I had one, and I think I just published my second book when we were talking. So yes, it gives you clout, the social proof, having that, the book awards, if you could put that on your book cover. Another question. Oh, no, did use Book with Bub for a group ad for event. Had like 20 authors with thumbnails of their books on ad. Events did well on Facebook at first, but diminishing returns as the authors did giveaways. Yeah. And what I would say is that I've been a part of a lot of events of authors coming together and doing that through different places, not through Story Origin. I did not experience this through Story Origin, but through other companies, where I would get a ton of people sign up for my newsletter list, and almost all of them, not all of them, but I would say 85% of them will unsubscribe. Within, there was a huge one I joined right about this time last year, and I got 5,000 subscribers from that one. That's how my newsletter list grew so much. But of those 5,000, I think I have 1,000. I counted it a couple of days ago. It was just over 1,000 left of those original 5,000. So they don't tend to stay with you. So it's hard, I think, to use those type of promotions to get people on your newsletter list. And then, hello, Angela, how are you doing? What worked then doesn't work now. Hence, I'm here to take notes. Exactly. Definitely diminishing returns for each platform, Angela. Hence, TikTok, the new kid. Yep. Being the only one with sales anymore.
Yeah.
Although we did talk about
for me.
Yeah. Although we talked about the rule of 7 touches in Estelle's video on her channel. So I would check that out, where I think social media could be useful for the 7 touches rule. I'll be on the hunt for Hallmark style contemporaries and rebooting my channel next week. Oh, that is exciting. TikTok, yes, we know how.
Yeah, I have that same feeling about TikTok.
All right, so the next question is, Angela, which you guys, this will probably be our last one because this is late in the evening for Estelle, and she's going to want to go to bed.
It's almost 11 p.m. my time, so.
Yes. So we're going to be wrapping
And I have a baby who wakes up at 6, so,
Yes, Brent, yep, got a baby. So we didn't get to any of our questions. We actually had something, I don't know if you guys would have been interested, but we were going to use some AI to generate keywords, but we ended up having a lot of questions, so we don't need it. Maybe we could do that another time, Estelle.
Yes, definitely. It would be a fun experiment, I think.
Yeah, I've already ran the experiment for myself, so we're going to do it on Estelle's books. But all right, so Angela's question is, how useful is a foreword by an author with more readers than you in the same related genre? I would ask.
I actually thought about that.
How many forewords do you read? That would be my question. How many forewords do you read in your genre?
Sorry, what?
How many forewords do you read in your genre?
How many forewords do I read in my genre?
Okay, so she's talking about how useful is a foreword. When you open a book, do you look for a foreword and do you read them?
Oh no, never.
Never.
Myself, never.
I think that answers a question for me. I never look for a foreword by an author with more readers than me in a same or related genre. I don't even look for the foreword. I don't read them. So
no, but what I thought about is, so I'm about to release a book on SEO for authors, right? And I know that I'm just gonna give his name out, but I know that Dale Roberts has a book on keywords for Amazon, and I thought, hey, why not asking him for a foreword? So, hey, Dale, if you're watching this video, would you do a foreword for me for my book on SEO? But I also thought, that having that kind of foreword, if any reader is reading that foreword, is that it could, bring in some social proof. And also you could use that connection with that author to promote a little bit your book as well.
I would say that if you did get a foreword by someone who is well known in their field, whatever genre it is you're in, I would put that on the cover. Foreword by,
Yeah, definitely.
You don't really see that in fiction, but you do see it in nonfiction quite a bit. What I would say is when I read a book and I really, really liked it, I will go back and read everything I can in that book, the foreword, the afterword, whatever it is that they have. Another thing I think to take into account is how e-readers work. Now, I only have an Amazon e-reader. And e-readers typically take you straight to chapter 1. They pass up the foreword. They pass up the the contents, the table of contents. They pass up the map usually if there's a map, because I read fantasy. So if you have a forward and it's an ebook on Amazon and someone's using their e-reader, they may not even see it. So, which is typically what happens with me. And that's when I really like a story I've read, I'll go back through and I'll look at everything before the first chapter. But my question would be then, piggybacking off of this, Estelle, is taking into account SEO and keyword research, would that forward have any?
Well, it depends. If you are using the name of the person who is doing your forward in your book description, for example, on Amazon,
right,
it could eventually lead to people looking for that person to your book page.
That's what I was saying. You could use it as a way for your SEO to get to grab the algorithm.
Exactly.
So again, she was talking about book description. So I would put that into your book description on your page, wherever it is. If it's Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever it is you're putting your description, you put it in there, forward by. So that was the last question I have to start here, but there's been a bunch more people saying
yes.
So I'm like, okay.
I'm very happy that people are coming with questions. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I left off. Okay, so nearly 10 p.m. here in the UK. Don't, because you don't get it. And then she said, according to a webinar I saw a couple of days ago, it helps a lot. Okay. And my question would be too, then what genre are you thinking of doing this? Like I said, I think with nonfiction, it's probably a whole lot useful compared to maybe some fiction, depending on who it is you get. Maybe, I don't know. I skip forwards unless I really, really loved the book, then I'll go back and look for it. But especially if, there you go. That's what I said. She must have said that before I did. I read author's notes, which tend to be more common than forwards in historic. And I would say that's true too. In what I read, the fantasy and fantasy romance I read, it's the author's notes are something that I read more of. Prologues, yes. Forwards, no. Yes, there are certain authors whose forwards would actively put me off the book. Oh,
wow.
I hadn't thought about that one. I don't read the forward unless I have a personal relation to whoever wrote it or I'm really bored. LOL, so true. Like bathroom reading material level board. Don't you have the labels for shampoo? Okay. Mark says I usually skip any forwards or acknowledgments in any genre. So that I think that would kind of be an answer, maybe an answer that could factor in. Again, depending on what you're writing or what your genre is. I think an award-winning burst on the cover would draw more attention. I definitely agree with that. Watch a replay, modding. Oh, okay. And and thank you, Esty and Estelle, for doing this Q&A. You're so welcome. Would you guys want to see more like this? Because it's something. It was just so funny. I was mentioning this on my sprints this morning. I was like, I just made a video where I was saying I might do some live Q&A on my channel since I was trying to get away from like making and editing videos. And right as I made that video, Estelle put out a video that said, I'm thinking about doing some live Q&A. And I started watching her video. I was like, hey, this is my thought too. I just
did something together.
We did this together. So so I don't know if this is something you guys like, we could do it again.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, and I feel like there was a lot that we didn't get to. So shampoo more. Yeah. Yay, great job. Thank you, Margaret. I don't need a roast. You're doing a great job. Yes, more Q&A. There we go. So, and Elaine also said that she would love to see more. This was fun. And so, yeah, alrighty. Well, I think that will wrap it up. Do you want to do an outro, Estelle? I don't think I ever did an intro, but go ahead, do your outro.
We didn't even do an outro on my channel.
We didn't, but that's okay. I didn't do it myself here.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure being here with you tonight. Thank you, Shanon, for inviting me on your channel.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
I'm Estelle Van de Velde. I'm a Belgian indie author, content creator, and passionate speaker about all things marketing and publishing. So I also have a YouTube channel, which you can have a link down below, I believe. I'm also the indie author of The Londoners, which is a travel memoir about my years as an expat in the UK. You can find it on Amazon, whether in English or French, actually. So yeah, that's me. So thank you for being here, and I hope you will have a lovely evening.
Yes, thank you. And everyone, oh, sorry. Oh, you were done. Go ahead.
No, that's good.
Okay. And I'm Shannon, writing on the name SC Houston. You're here on my channel where I publish content about writing and my self-publishing journey. Although my edited videos are few and far in between. I'm doing more writing sprints these days because I'm trying to get more writing done. I am 1/3 of the Self-Publishing Tips and Tricks podcast, which we have our next episode, which is the last episode of this season, coming out tomorrow. And Estelle is our first author of our next season in Q3. So we're looking forward to that. We've already interviewed her, so I just have to edit that video still. And I'm one half of the AuthorTube Writing Conference duo with Margaret Pinard, who is in the chat. And yeah, things are going for that. We have contacted most of our speakers. We're getting ready to put the list together. And hopefully come April, we are going to have a reveal of the full schedule. So I think we're going to leave it at that. And we'll see you guys all later. Bye.
Bye.